2 now. All right. Welcome back to Terran's World. Doing a post-draft reaction, joined by Finn and Jack. Hopefully going to have Daniel and Lawson in here soon. Who knows with those guys? But we're doing a post-draft reaction, and the number one thing I think we got to talk about before we dive into some of these draft grade type stuff, which I asked you guys about. Shador Sanders obviously sliding to the fifth round. I thought that was pretty ridiculous, but I want to hear your guys' just general reactions towards that whole thing.
Finn, you want to do this? You want me to take this?
Go for it.
All right. Yeah, I think that, dude, Shador Sanders should have at least gone in the second round, in my opinion, minimum. I was like, okay, he's going second round for sure. I honestly think I'll bring this up later, but a lot of the guys taken before him, I think, did not deserve it all be taken care of before him. I really think it's he's got the Sanders last name. You know, he was cocky. I heard some things. I don't know how accurate it is, but owners telling teams not to draft him, just take him off the board. I feel like it's more of like a higher up thing than like even just like head coaches wanting him. I feel like it's like kind of league want to send a message or something. So I feel like there's like the only way you could have fallen that far. Like first round, I get it, but like going fifth round is crazy.
Ben?
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's a name point at that the way he fell is like unprecedented. I mean, he was supposed to go number one. Like he had pretty good odds to go number one like a month ago. Maybe a little bit longer than that. But the fact that he was able to just slide that far, it makes me feel like a lot of the GMs kind of not got together, but had this same kind of vantage point about where this guy was going to be. But the thing to me is like, there's only like 8-9 teams that actually need a quarterback of starting caliber.
Mm-hmm.
And he's probably a starting caliber quarterback, given he was maybe going to go number one. And I think a lot of teams just didn't have him even on their boards, which they didn't, because if he were to be drafted as a backup quarterback, it would have caused a lot of controversy in the QB room probably.
Yeah.
So that limited his options of landing spots. But the fact that Tyler Show and Gabriel getting drafted over him is ridiculous. But that's
Yeah.
a whole nother topic, I guess. But
It was like a weird it felt like what's up, Daniel?
What
It
up, boys?
felt like he was almost getting blackballed from the league, which was really weird and felt like a way overreaction for obviously it's super possible he had those, terrible draft meetings and stuff like that. It still felt like he's way too good to go fifth round. Like I don't think he's fantastic, but he's totally better than a lot of the guys drafted above them. I mean, you mentioned Shuck and Gabriel. Obviously, I'd throw Jalen Milrow in there too, but I think he works for the Seahawks well. Daniel, what are your thoughts on the Shador Sanders thing? Because you're actually a fan of a team who would have drafted him, maybe.
Yeah, I thought we were trading up for him. Can't even lie. I wanted him. But clearly something was up there. I mean, I agree with Finn. It's not like a blackball situation necessarily, but there was something spreading around league offices saying, like, we don't want this kid. And I think it would have been fine if you just, like, flipped the him and Gabriel pick. Then, like, all right, it all makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But Dylan Gabriel was just unreal.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like the most bad for Dylan Gabriel. I mean, like, there's just no way he gets the locker room or gets any sort of recognition on that team anymore.
I don't know, dude. I think the GM saw your podcast, Lawson's Take, or whatever, and they were pretty influenced by it. I mean, the thing is, though, this low key is like the best shot Dylan Gabriel would have to start, though, because even though Shador is on the team, like it's really just Shador versus Gabriel because Joe Flacco's 40, Kenny Pickett's ass. I think Deshaun Watson like tore his Achilles and he's a deviant. So like, I mean, I
I
don't.
agree. Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders,
craziest
classic
quarterback
situation
room in
of
the
iron
league.
sharpens iron.
Exactly, bro. That's dude. They need to have Hard Knocks, bro. That'd be a fire Hard Knocks. The
Dude, they
Gabriel.
have to do Hard Knocks. It would be so good.
That'd be awesome.
But anyways, yeah, that's Shador just general. We had to talk about that just because that was obviously the draft story. But I asked these guys to come with a couple superlatives, a little bit like last time. And I'm going to start you guys off with, I'm going to start with Jack. This is how I see it on my screen. What team won the draft? Who had the best overall draft?
All right. In my opinion, wait 1 second.
Don't
All
say
right. In my opinion, I had to look at my notes real quick because I wrote down all my answers. I have the Seahawks winning the draft. I feel like, I mean, Gray Zabel, they needed offensive line, especially with Sam Darnold, because that dude crumbles under pressure. So that's a great pick in the first round. Trade up for Nick Emanwari, who's one of my favorite players in the draft. I mean, this dude's got the build of Cam Chancellor 2.0.
Talks
Like,
about him.
yeah, no, like he's built crazy and he has the stats to prove it up. Then they drafted a tight end in the second round. Their tight end room's kind of weak, so they got like another starting tight end. And they got that, I think he's from Colorado State, like the number 14, Torrey
Dog,
Horton.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
That's an absolute steal. Because
Without injuries, he's a day two pick easily.
yeah,
Who is this?
Torrey Holt,
uh,
Colorado
Oh
State.
yeah.
but like low key, because I thought their receiver room, even though they signed Cup, was like pretty weak. But like if he's like healthy, they low key like they got some weapons and they got O line and defense. I thought they won. Oh,
Yeah.
and I even say Milrow, bro. Fuck
Yeah.
Milrow. Like, even though he can't throw the ball right now, like 2 years, if he can like figure out how to pass the football, he'll be cracked. He's already an insane athlete.
I think that's a perfect project for the Seahawks. Is
Yeah.
Jalen Milrow? I think that's a great
Agreed.
pick for them.
I mean, at the bare minimum, they got to get him in at like run plays and stuff like that because he's so
Mhm.
good at running the ball.
He's so athletic. He's
He
such a
can't
good
run.
football
Yeah,
player.
you just can't throw the ball downfield. That's all it is. So
Yeah.
You know,
he's great.
someone said this in my class yesterday, so I'm gonna take full credit for it. But I heard someone say at the very worst, they just got Taysom Hill, which is just straight facts, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's a great comparison. Finn, who do you think won the draft?
I think who won the draft, what team won the draft, in my opinion, was the Arizona Cardinals. I think they completely revamped another NFC West team. I think they completely revamped that defense. The defense is honestly really weak last year, but they have Jonathan Gannon now. If Kyler Murray and the offense can turn it around and Marvin Harrison gets going, I think they could be a dark horse to win that. Not even a dark horse. I mean, all its teams are pretty mediocre.
Yeah.
I think they could just straight up win the division with no real competition. I mean, the Seahawks will always be there, but I think they still overperformed last year. But at 16, they grab Walter Nolan, which I think could easily end up being DT1 and probably a top 5 player in this draft for me.
Mm-hmm.
And at 47, they take a shot on Will Johnson, and he slid super far.
Yeah.
I mean, there must be injury concerns that we don't know about, but he's such a huge talent that the fact that they were able to get him at 47, I think Gannon will, if he's healthy, Gannon will know exactly what to do with him. Gannon will have that defense ready. And then in the third round, they grabbed Jordan Birch from Oregon, and I didn't think he'd even get that far. All these Oregon players, I mean, I the fact that Birch slid that far as well is also crazy to me. I mean, he's a crazy talent as well. And they round out their draft picking some defensive guys. It was a heavily defensive oriented draft. And I think that's exactly what they need because I think that offense can win games, but their defense just lost them games last year.
Yeah. I think that before I go to Daniel, I think that Will Johnson pick was so good because when he's healthy, he was easily the best corner in college football.
He was going to be a top 5 pick as of 2024 or
as of probably October, November 2024.
Yeah.
He was a top 5 pick and he couldn't play. So that was it. Daniel, who do you think won the draft?
Well, I'll wait to talk about my Giants, but
for the next segment or what?
When we talk about our favorite team, but that is number 1. But team I want to highlight was the New England Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they really killed it. They put a bunch of talent around Drake May. They got him as tackle for the next 10 years in Will Campbell. They got a great center in the 3rd round out of Georgia. And then that Kyle Williams pick is going to be really fun. That dude is explosive as hell. And then I also thought they got great value with Joshua Farmer in the 4th. And then he'll draft a kicker.
Absolutely.
Why not, you know?
Yeah.
And they got Henderson too or whatever, though.
Yeah, Travion, tough.
Yeah.
Him going after Judkins is, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, was it 2 picks later, something like that? Whatever it was.
Exactly.
Yeah, those literally, I had 3 teams on my list. Those were the 3 teams. I think you could maybe throw the Titans in there just because of what they did with like undrafted free agents. I think adding Xavier Restrepo to Cam Ward is fantastic.
The fact that he was not drafted is
crazy.
Wild to me.
I do think it was who won it. I think that the first 4 picks are all guys who help Cam Ward Drake May immensely. Adding Will Campbell and Travion Henderson, that's 2 guys who are going to block so well for him. And then adding Kyle Williams, the next pick, that's a guy who's explosive down the field. I think that was a fantastic draft. And then they mentioned this I was watching the ESPN broadcast. The first couple rounds, it was, how are you going to help your young quarterback? And the next 4 were, this is like Mike Vrabel drafting. It's like what he wants to do with the team. I thought Braden Swinson in the 5th was a great pick from LSU. Jack, the one guy I'm going to add on just a little bit to your Seahawks pick, because I think that was a good one too. Ricky White in the 7th round is a great pick because he was a receiver. That guy, special teams phenomenon, though. I don't know if you guys know this. He blocked 5 punts last year for UNLV. The dude is ridiculous on special teams. And just because of that, obviously it's like those late round guys, you have to be good at special teams. He is going to earn a roster spot just because of that and their progress as a receiver. So I think that was a phenomenal pick in the seventh. And then Cardinals, Finn, I also completely agree. Everything about they did was great. The just whole defensive drafting was fantastic. So I
Yeah.
agree with all of
I'd
those.
also like to mention real quick that the Bucks have a really good draft as well.
Oh,
The
dude, the
Bucks
Bucks,
draft.
They
dude,
did.
their offense is so stacked, dude.
Was
Dude,
Ibuka the right pick? Do you think? Was
was
Ibuka the
who?
right pick? Was
I
Ibuka the
think I
right
think he
pick?
was a fine pick, but the rest, what they did the rest of the way was great too.
I think a great pick is Tez Johnson in the seventh round. I think that guy's deal.
And
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
Desmond Williams, you know, the lightest and heaviest players of all time in the NFL draft. You guys see that?
Yeah.
The like
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did
like
actually.
440 guy from Florida. Love that.
Yeah.
Put him next to Vita Vea. What? Who's
Yeah,
gonna
dude,
run anyway?
there
He
is
can't even
no
move.
goal line
Can't even move.
offense, which is going through that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next. And guys, who had the worst draft? Let's start with Jack. We'll go in that same order.
All right, this is like in a very weird spot for me because this team, like, they could easily, like, you could like end up saying they won this draft or the next draft after, but I don't know. I just didn't focus so much who they do. I have the Browns just because I feel like
Maybe a
you
hot
trade.
take compared
Yeah,
to
no,
one
it is
of
because they got a
I
first round.
don't agree, but
They got a first round pick next year for trading back, which I mean that is like, and they got some good picks, which is like insanely good value. But they could have stuck there and had Travis Hunter, and they could have also not picked Dylan Gabriel in the third. I think that was a panic pick. Like I love Gabriel, but he was much rather like a Shador type of spot. But what they could have done is just I like the Judkins pick, but they could have kept Travis Hunter, taken Judkins, and they could have taken another impact player in the third, stayed all this time, pick Shador later, and have Shador and Travis Hunter reunited pretty easily and already have that QB connection. Like I think Travis Hunter, I think Mason Graham's good, but I think passing on Travis Hunter was a mistake. So that's why I have them as my losers. And I thought
They
that,
drafted Judkins over Henderson too, right?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
a lot of people didn't agree with that.
the Saints like my honorable mention because I hate Tyler Shuck, but they didn't really have a bad draft other than that.
yeah, no, completely agree with that. I mean, drafting two quarterbacks and two running backs is certainly a choice by Cleveland. So I do agree with that. Finn, who do you think had the worst draft?
Oh man, it's hard. It's hard to go against this guy because of how he his first year as a GM he picked really confusing, but it ended up working out really well. But it's hard. I just look at this draft and I'm not inspired by the Lions draft this year. I think
I knew you were going there.
round one, pick 28, Tyreek Williams. That could be just like a scheme fit, but in the round one, I just feel like that there's so much more talent available. If Jahad Campbell went to the Lions, there's a lot of guys that could have went to the Lions that I think made more sense. But I mean, then again, it's like it's hard to go against him. I think they reached on Tate Ratledge in the second. They traded up for an Arkansas wide receiver, Isaac Tesla, when there's so many more receivers on the board, so many more talented receivers. I think Dan Jackson was a fine pick, but other than that, it's just like I'm not inspired by this draft at all.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Daniel.
Well, I like what Jack's honorable mention. I'll agree with. I was gonna go with the New Orleans Saints. I think that Tyler Shuck pick was awful.
Yeah,
That was terrible. At 40, it's unreal. I mean,
it's like a Davis Mills pick. That's what it seems like.
exactly right. And then, I mean, there wasn't anything honestly I thought that notable the rest of the draft. Like Kelvin Banks, great first pick. Besides that, it's like I don't know. Maybe Devin Neal will be fun, but I with Shuck, it just such a negative without any like anything to really raise the bar.
I thought Devin Neal was by far their best pick. I thought Kelvin Banks was fine, but I didn't think it was maybe the right pick for them. I'm
Yeah.
going with the Dolphins for mine because
Mm.
I just don't
Yeah,
think they addressed any of the right needs. Obviously, the first two rounds are fine in my opinion. You grab Kenneth Grant and Jonah oh, I'm gonna butcher this.
Yeah, you are.
it's the Arizona tackle,
Yeah,
right?
the
Yeah, you're
Arizona
right.
guard. And then they trade out of 3 and 4, and they take DBs, but they needed defensive backs. You lost Javon Holland, you lost Jalen Ramsey. Trading out of 3 and 4 when there's still guys available to take just
They
doesn't make.
still have Ramsey though, right? They're just gonna trade
I,
him.
I thought they released him.
Oh, you
I
might.
think
I
He's
might
still
be
on
right.
he's still on the team, but he's like definitely getting traded or
There's
cut.
like no way Jalen Ramsey like plays for them again. But you lose
yeah.
both those guys, and you don't really sign anyone else. I mean, if I had to bet on a team who is going to be the worst pass defense in the NFL, it's probably the Dolphins. I did kind of like the Ollie Gordon and Quinn
I
Ewers.
was about to say that's one of my favorite picks of the draft.
I think it's crazy that Ollie Gordon went to the six. Like if you told me that a year ago, I'd say
I think
you're
he may have gone seventh even too. I can't remember.
he went to
Six, yeah.
I think it's a solid pick, but like that's crazy to me. He went six. Quinn Ewers also, I think he slid a lot. I don't think he's great, but I think that's like you get two solid backups for Tua when he inevitably gets hurt. Now,
Hmm.
that was fine.
Yeah.
Um, but let's move into individual stuff, and I'm wondering what was the best pick outside the first round. So obviously, there's lots of good guys in the first round, but who went three, two, three, four, five, six, seven, whatever it is, Jack?
I mean, I don't mean to steal a take or whatever, but I think I touched on it. I had Will Johnson my best pick just because I thought this dude was gonna be top 15 for sure. Like when the Vikings were at pick like 24 or something, I was like screaming at the TV like gotta be Will Johnson. I'm hyped to get Will Johnson. Pass on him. Apparently he has like some problems with his knees, is what everyone's worried about. But like if he can stay healthy, I know it's a big if, but that is just such insane value to get like a top 10 player at pick like 44, 48. I remember it was in the 40s. So I think Will Johnson is my favorite pick outside the first.
Mhm. Finn?
My favorite pick outside the first. 1 second. Go to Daniel.
Okay, Daniel.
I actually like two picks. I actually mentioned this guy early in the process. Cowboys took Savone Rebel in the third round, and I thought he fell 30 picks plus pass ratio to go. I thought that was a great pick. And also, the Cowboys did well in the second as well, taking Donovan as a Rocky. I thought both those picks are great value for them. Um, I don't know a ton about what they did the rest of the draft, but I love those two picks for them.
I mean, especially I didn't think what was his name? Donovan. Who's the guard? Donovan Jackson? Is that who they took?
Oh, you
No,
took
that was
Tyler
they took
Boyd.
Tyler
Michael
Booker.
Jackson Vikings.
I didn't think that was a great pick. Like I
It was
understand
early, but it's to their roots. I feel like,
but then the next two, I agree with Ravel and Ezrake. I thought those were fantastic picks.
yeah,
You want me to go?
yeah, go.
You good, Finn?
Yep, yeah. My favorite pick outside of the first round. I mean, there's obviously character concerns with this guy, but I think it has to be Mike Green. I mean, that's another draft. The Ravens always just draft the guys that are so talented and then just fall to them. They take Malachi
Yeah.
Starks.
So
They take Mike
talented
Green.
and have all the wrong off the field issues.
Yeah, potentially, but they did. They said they conducted their own internal investigation,
Yeah.
and so they felt comfortable picking him there. And he was top 10 talent. So the fact that they get him in the second round is insane to me.
Yeah, he did slip a lot. Obviously, those off the field issues were the reason why, because he's very talented. I'm gonna go with the guy. I think a lot of the ones I was thinking about were people I talked about. Honestly, they went with the Seahawks. I mean, I just want to talk about a few of these other guys because I think they had a fantastic draft. Damian Martinez in the seventh was also a
I was
fucking
gonna say that earlier.
Yes,
that was a
yes.
steal.
Oregon State grown.
Okay.
Come on.
Well, yeah. And then obviously Ricky White, I
And
already
left.
talked about him. Same with Torrey Horton. Daniel knows who I'm going with. It was the Browns' third round selection. Give me Harold Fannin. Dude, not Dylan Gabriel. Yeah,
You had me the first time, I'm not gonna lie.
that was
Pump it.
yeah. Harold Fannin Jr. was the best tight end, one of the best receivers in college football last year. He led the FCS in receiving yards. Obviously, he dropped. I would have had him as a day one, maybe day two pick. He dropped a lot. Obviously, he wasn't great in the blocking drills of the combine. Was at Bowling Green. What I show to you though against Penn State, 11 receptions, 130 yards, 37 yards and touchdown. Texas A&M, 8 receptions, 145 and a touchdown. This dude did it against top competition. He is going to come into a Browns team. Obviously, that quarterback situation isn't fantastic, but one of those guys is going to be able to get him the ball. I could see them playing a lot of two tight end sets with David Njoku, and I think he'll work fantastically in that offense. Going from Ohio to Ohio, I love the pick for the Browns. It was fantastic.
That's a good 12 personnel right there.
Exactly. Any other picks that you guys really liked outside the first round before we go to the next one?
I'll just say the Ollie Gordon one that you said earlier. Like, if
Mhm.
he could have gone to the draft a year earlier as a sophomore, he had like 1,800 yards, like 23 touchdowns, like some insane video game numbers. He probably would have been a second round pick, first round pick. So I got that
I
one.
think the Panthers grabbing Nick Scorton is really good. I think he was also a potential first round pick. Very young guy, super talented. The fact that they were able to grab him I think the third, I think
Yeah,
that's really
above
good
that, yeah.
value. Or
Yeah,
maybe bottom of the second, early. I don't know. One of the two.
yeah.
Either way.
I thought the Falcons taking Xavier Watson the third was a great value as well to Notre Dame.
Yeah,
He was definitely a second round guy, I thought, and he fell to nearly pick 100, so that's pretty good value.
yeah, I know I like that pick. It was I like the Notre Dame secondary guys. Benjamin Morrison too, I thought was good.
Yeah.
We'll go to the next one. Going through these kind of quickly, but I'm thinking of some other ones, surprise questions.
Freestyle.
Yeah. Who do you guys think was the worst pick? Once again, Jack, we'll start with you. What was the worst pick of the draft?
Tyler
Doesn't
Shuck.
Tyler Shuck.
Tyler
Yeah,
Shuck.
that was what I was trying to tell you pre-draft. This dude,
Oh
as
yeah, yeah, yeah.
this dude cannot beat Anthony Brown out for the starting job. I think Anthony Brown's a backup in the CFL right now, or like the Arena Football League or something
Yeah.
like that, bro. Like he is, he's not, he's not second round caliber at all. And he just has some of the most idiotic plays I've ever seen. I mean, he has potential. He is tall. He has a cannon. But people are clowning on Bo Nix for being old as hell. When last year, and everyone was roasting him, and Bo Nix was 100 times better prospect than Shuck. He's like 25, like 6-year college player, and was way worse than all the other quarterbacks available. So I have him.
Finn, who do you think was the worst pick?
My hate's coming out, but I think it's Tyler Booker at the 12th pick. I think that was awful. I think drafting a guard that high, like I get like the videos, and they did draft really well in the middle rounds. Ezra Rock was a great pickup in the second round, but the fact that picking a guard at 12, and I guess they must have had an elite grade on him, but he's not that athletic. You can see from his RAS scores, but I just don't think. I mean, I just want to hate on Jerry Jones, honestly, but
So
Got to.
fair,
yeah,
yeah.
fuck that guy. Anyways, horrible pick.
Daniel, what do you think?
This is less about the player, I'd say, and more about the team. But the Packers, I thought a position that they needed to attack was cornerback, and they just did not do that in the first 3 rounds. I thought in the second round they reached on a tackle at NC State. I thought that should have been a quarterback every day of the week because Golden was a great pick in the first round, but you got to address secondary with that team. You don't know what's happening with Jair. Like,
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And for me, I actually took it the same way of just like a team, more of like a team's decision, not the person themselves. I took the Falcons taking James Pierce, and it's not because Pierce isn't talented. I think he's fantastic. It's because of the way they got him. It's because they used a next year's first round pick to trade into 26 up from 46. That doesn't happen. I don't think he's a good enough player to do that. I think he's good. They obviously addressed that edge rush, which they needed that. They barely got to the quarterback last year. I don't think that was the right thing to do, though, especially for a team that definitely isn't ready to immediately contend. It feels like they're going to need that first round pick next year. And I therefore think that James Pierce drafting him was not the right decision. Finn, I saw you make a face, though. What do you think of that?
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, it's back and forth because like he before the year even started, he was gonna be the number one pick consensus
yeah,
before the season even started. He's got the talent for it. I mean, I mean, it's hard because I totally agree with like there's the fact that they're gonna need that pick because they're not in a win now mode and their pass rush is god awful.
Yeah.
Getting Jalen Walker though is really good, and I think Pierce is really good. But I think if you're gonna praise James Gladstone for what he did to get Travis Hunter, and then not praise the Falcons GM, I think it's a little like
I'm not
redundant.
praising James Gladstone. I think that was a stupid ass decision. I think that just
I
cost
think
them.
I think that was worse than what
That is
Fontenot did.
that is fair. I just think that Travis Hunter it's better to take. It's the more obvious pick at 26 than
Mhm.
James Pierce.
It's true.
yeah. I
I
think it
don't.
kind
I
of
don't know.
depends where that
I
pick lands.
But yeah, yeah.
But
It very much depends on what the Falcons
I
do.
mean, if that's a top 10 pick, they look like idiots. If it's 20, something,
Yeah, if
fine.
James Pierce is fantastic and they make the playoffs, then yeah, then it's a great pick and it's a great move.
Yeah.
If not, then it's a just
But
a
yeah, trading to the back end of the first round with the first round pick's pretty crazy.
it's
Dude,
dumb.
oh my God, imagine like how just roasted the GM would just get fired if like the Falcons are the first pick somehow next year,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then they just
Um,
trade that shit away.
yeah. Speaking of potential GMs getting fired, let's talk about how do you think your team did? Let's start. I'm going to start with the man chugging a gallon of milk right now because he is in the most interesting position. Daniel, the Giants' interesting draft, very interesting draft. How do you feel?
Fucking killed it. Absolutely demolished the drafts. I love it. I'm super stoked. I haven't had this much hope in a while. Let's go. At first, I did not love the Jackson Dart trade up. I was standing up, hands on my head, waiting for Shador Sanders, and I fell to the couch when I hear Jackson Dart gets announced. But I bought into it. Didn't give up a lot, to be honest. Had a third round pick to give this year, a third next year, or whatever. Abdul Carter will be so good. I am so excited to have him on the team. I thought that Scadaboo is a great pick. I thought that Darius Alexander was a borderline back end of the first round guy that we got in the third.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then Marcus Bowe is a dude we were probably debating in the draft in between him and Alexander, and then he falls in the fifth, fills another position of need. I mean, we kind of hit every need we had and upgraded, especially on the interior. I mean, a receiver would have been nice. I would have loved that Ricky White seventh round pick, to be honest. But besides that, like I loved what we did.
Yeah.
But I also do not want to see Jackson Dart play a single snap this year. Not one.
I hope you know I will be making for the social media video. I will be putting that video you sent me of you reacting to the Jackson Dart over the "we killed it" section. So excited about
Like
that.
I said, I bought in. I bought in. I bought in.
Finn, you were very excited when the Eagles picked Jahad Campbell in the first. How did the rest of the draft go, you think?
I think it went spectacular. I think it went absolutely. I mean, we got Andrew Makuba in the second. Is a
Jeez.
perfect villain. It's the same. It's the same player as C.J. Gardner Johnson, just on a rookie contract and younger.
Yeah.
And then we could just fill that hole immediately. We got Ty Robinson. Who else? Who else did we pick up? I'm literally blanking. I should have done a little more research on the Eagles drafts or all.
Kyle McCord.
We got Kyle. He's a Philly guy.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, honestly, that's fine. Honestly, that's fine. I don't mind the quarterback. I mean, now DTR is gonna have to fight for a roster spot.
GT
Uh,
Forgot that DTR is on the Eagles.
oh, dude, who's the Georgia linebacker they got too?
Small Mondin. Oh no, I'm
I
looking
mean,
at it.
if he's from Georgia, I'm fine with him on the squad. You
That
know.
is very fair.
I actually
Uh,
hated. I remember seeing a Georgia dude go to you guys and was like pissed off about that.
yeah, because I mean, he literally said that he's been texting like most of those guys this whole time, like, and so the fact that he's on the squad now. I mean, Makuba's just gonna be fun to watch, man.
It's just
Same with Campbell. I hope Vic Fangio is gonna be able to put them in the right system, play them the right way and stuff. So I'm very excited with that.
yeah.
God, I hate the Eagles.
It's once again just I cannot believe that the other GMs let Howie Roseman get Jahad Campbell, probably in my opinion the best linebacker in this draft class. So that's infuriating. Jack, you were a lot less excited live when the Vikings drafted not Tyreek Williams, he's the D tackle. Who Josh Simmons?
Dom Jackson.
Donovan Jackson, excuse me.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the rest of the draft though?
Well, here's the thing. Initially, I was upset about the results of the draft, but now I'm content. I don't think we had like the best draft, but we only had like 5 picks. We had like one of the lowest picks in this year's draft. And I low key I'm shoulder now because this whole draft we kind of just prioritized JJ McCarthy. Like we're pretty stacked at O line now. We have a starting left guard now picking Jackson, and we already got Darisaw, Kelly Fries, O'Neal, all these guys we signed. So we're stacked there. And then our next pick was a third rounder, and we picked Ty Felton, this
Yep.
receiver from Maryland, and like he automatically is our wide receiver 3. He was first team Big Ten. He's pretty fast, but those were
If you forget, called him my most underrated player on
yeah,
the first episode.
yeah. So I mean, he's definitely gonna put up numbers in the offense. So JJ, like if he fails this year, then it's so over. Like he is the perfect situation. We really
Bro, he
have
hasn't played a
more
snap yet. And you're
picks.
talking about it so over.
Yeah, well, no, bro. I'm a Vikings fan, bro. I have to, bro. But
Dude, you think Jackson Dart's gonna save your franchise, and he hasn't played a
Well,
snap
I
either.
wasn't gonna say all that, but like I said, he doesn't need to play a snap this year.
No, he got the GM fired.
Like,
That's fine.
If
that
he was already
Nable's on
fired.
hot water, bro. But yeah, I was chill with mine. I was chill with the draft. I hated it at first, but I'm chill with it now.
that's fair. Yeah. I'm barely a Chargers fan, so I'm not gonna act like I care enough about them to speak for their draft class. What were some other, because we're coming up, it's the Zoom thing is about to end in 5 minutes. Did you guys have any other draft takeaways, anything like that?
I just
Um,
think the Eagles are going to repeat. I think it's set in stone. I mean, you
Wow.
get two
Set in
immediate
stone is
defensive
crazy, bro.
starters. I mean, no, dude, Howie's the best GM in the league, and it's
Oh
just
my,
awesome to
quit the
see.
glaze, bro. Quit the
It's
glaze.
just awesome. Oh my God, Jack, if you had a GM like ours, then you'd be hyped.
I would be. I would be. It's just annoying that you
Yeah,
guys like he fucking finesses so much, bro. Pisses me off. I can't lie.
facts.
Right, he just did what he needed to do and more.
But
So I mean, there's no way we aren't playoff contenders, Super Bowl contenders.
I
But
fucking thought you guys gonna
shout out
take
to
a
the Eagles
taker,
that
bro.
didn't visit the White House. Saquon Barkley is kind of a dickbag all of a sudden,
Yeah, that
but
was a shitty ass signing, huh?
I didn't know this podcast was a
yeah,
political
yeah.
thing, Diego. I didn't know this was a political podcast.
Daniel, Jack, any other takeaways?
Um,
Let's go Ducks, bro. Jordan James, that is gonna be crazy in fantasy football. I'm calling it. Him and Terrence Ferguson, maybe on my team. Those guys are putting up
dude,
numbers
I
this year.
saw something saying the Rams almost took. Oh wait, who's the tight end you just said? I just
Keith
blanked
Berg,
his name
Terrence
now.
Ferguson. They would have
Yeah,
taken him.
almost took him in the first round.
That's
What?
high.
Dude,
He's
he's
good.
nice.
He was not a first round tight end.
No, but
He's nice, bro.
The
He's just like
Bears
a
taking
ball
Loveland
like
over
these other
Booker
guys.
is so
Oh
confusing.
yeah, the Bears, the most Bears thing possible, taking a position they don't need and not even taking the best player at that
Yeah,
position.
that's facts.
I think
Nah.
Loveland's
unreal.
good, but at the same time, it just
Like
makes
Cole
no
Kmet
sense.
is not some scrub.
Cole Kmet,
That's what I said.
Well,
yeah,
Cole Kmet's gonna put his hand in the dirt. Colson Loveland's not gonna do that all year. I don't.
that is true. But
That's
Tyler,
true.
Tyler
I
Warren,
think Hampton would have been a good pick there, though.
I
yeah,
agree.
Hampton,
That's
a
what I
defensive
had
lineman,
before.
something like that.
Banks too, or Banks might have been no. Banks was
Banks is
there.
nine.
I think.
He was
Oh,
9. He's 9.
Oh, he was
if
nine. He was
Banks
nine.
is there, I bet they would have taken him. Or I would hope they would have taken him.
Yeah.
Um,
Hey,
yeah,
Cam Scadaboo too, though. Watch out for that
Oh,
guy.
I low key fuck with that
Yeah.
pick heavy,
it
dude.
is a good pick. I mean, it's
Him
just
and Tyrone Tracy is like
Thunder and lightning.
not quite Demont and Gibbs, but a better version of the Walmart version of
wow.
them. Someone between them and the Walmart version of them. We got Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scadaboo. And in 2 years, they're going to be better.
The thing I will say about the Giants draft is that D line is actually really scary. That D line is easily top 3.
Really good,
Yeah,
especially
I
Especially if
like
they
what
can use
Shane did.
Thibodeau and Carter at the same time. They're both lighter defensive ends, which might
So is
get kind of
Burns too.
weird up
Yeah.
front. But
but
if
And
they
then
can add some more
Burns, bro.
depth in the trenches, like
I mean, getting
that'll
Gary.
be good.
I mean, all the things that you would be worried about with that defensive line is like, the gaps in the middle, and then you add Darius Alexander, if I'm not mistaken, plays interior D line. That's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
He'll
like,
be right next to Sexy Dexy.
if anything,
That's him, bro.
like your offense may not be able to move the ball, but that defensive line is going to stop the run and
Yeah,
get.
absolutely. I like what Shane did fixing the DB room and free agency and attacking D line in the draft. I thought it was really
So
good.
you probably will have a good defense, and Daboll's a defensive. He's a defensive coach, right?
No,
He's
he's an offensive guy. He drafted Jackson Dart because he saw Josh Allen things in him. So we'll see how that goes. Saw what he built in Buffalo. He can build it here.
Jackson Dart look, he has a little bit of aura, bro, but he looks like he acts like he's dumb as rocks, though, bro.
I don't know. Anakin Skywalker, hard.
No, he's got aura, dude. Have you seen his quick little rant, minute 47? You seen his interview with John Gruden, dude? Like,
Yeah.
Gruden raging at him, bro.
Yeah, and pisses, no
Let me
snap.
see your snap count.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you drafted.
Yeah. One more thing I just want to add before Lawson owes me like a lot of money because we made a Super Bowl bet the day of the NFC Championship, and I know he's not here to confirm that, but he said I'll bet you the Chiefs smack the Eagles. $50.
What was the money?
Started taking some interest after 3 months of him not paying, 2 months. So yeah, he owes me a lot of money. By the way, guys.
I mean,
By
if
the
he
way,
didn't show up, then I don't believe his story. He doesn't have a story to tell. I believe you, Finn.
Yep, facts.
Sounds like he's dodging this for a reason.
No, I know. He literally
The
said
reason
that.
he's not
so.
here.
It's
Movie he went to.
You
His
can put that
movie.
too and tag him if you want. Yeah, it's up to like 80 bucks.
Finn needs a couple dinners out there in the wild back.
Oh yeah. Wild back. Yeah.
Go in the outback.
In the wild back.
He's getting wild in the back.
All right. That's
This
gonna do
fine,
it for
this
this
fine.
episode. Less than a minute on the Zoom left until it closes.
Buzzer beater.
Fellas, thanks for joining me. Always a great time. Had some awesome takes.
Be
And
back soon. See you
back
again.
soon. Maybe some NBA draft stuff down the line, and see you all later.